Hello everyone. Moz, I'm coming at you. I checked, my microphone is connected. You should be able to hear me. What is going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me on this Sunday evening. Buy planning is done, thank God. Round 17 is over. I'm just going to double check my settings. It looks like my audio is there. So let me know in the chat as well if you guys can hear me. Moz looking for the green arrows this week. Yeah, I think I saw your score was about 850 from memory, which is pretty good. I think for this week, I was thinking around 700 is probably the par for this week based on. Look, scores are really varied this week though, so it's hard to get a read. Like you're seeing people in 800s, 900s. You're seeing others like Tim Moody, for example, over 1,000. Sam, nice try. Nice try, Sam. Almost got me there. I was like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, you're seeing some scores like in the 500s. Oliver, I see you. You're trying to trip me up. But I'm getting loud and clear. Audio's on. No, I think it was a weird week to gauge. Obviously, it depends on how many players you've got. Board Bucky, I see you there too. Half of you guys are just going to tell me I'm muted from now on, so I'm just going to keep double checking, but look, I think I'm good. Hanging for this poem, Mitchell says, ooh, is there a poem for this week? There is a poem. There will always be a poem for you, Mitchell. 2-1 odds of Aman being muted at the start again. Moz, not a chance. 806 some shades of red. Look, I think over 800 is a pretty decent week this week. As I mentioned, I think around 700 is probably going to be okay. If you're sitting at the pointy end, let's say top 1,000, you're probably looking for around an 800 plus score. If you're like me, maybe like top 5,000, I think I am at the moment. 740 that I got is probably just going to make me hover. I don't actually think I'm really going to go up that much in rankings. Could even go down slightly. Like, for example, the Podmasters League, which I think is the third highest ranked league, the average score in there was 730. And then the other seeded league for the Podmasters was like 705. So I think over 700, you probably had an okay week. Aman, your podcast is goated. Nathan, thank you so much for that awesome compliment. Cullen, you've got it right there. You had huge spreads in your leagues, talking like 400 to 800. Yeah, it really comes down to, your number of players that you had for this week. Really, I think this week came down to a few select players. So, Cody Walker, for example, went really big. Mitchell Moses, if anyone had Mitchell Moses as a pod, Cody Walker's about 34% owned, I think, in the top 100. I think Moses was only about 13%, so only a few people had him really in the top tiers. Obviously, Latrell was heavily bought, but I still think his overall ownership would be fairly low. He obviously got 93, so he did really well. IPAP obviously scored 90, but a lot of us own IPAP, so I think it really came down to if you captained him or not. I'm slightly disappointed in my score because I had 13 players, but I just wasn't able to land any of those real big guys who got like 100 plus. And then IPAP I own, as does everyone else, but I didn't even captain him. I captained Dylan Brown because I thought he might go big this week. Look, I'll get it out of the way early. So I bought Sean Lane, and I feel dudded. I feel like I should be adding 17 to Sean Lane's score, and I feel like I should be adding 12 to Dylan Brown's score. So, look, I'm going to say my score is 741. My asterisk score is going to be 758 plus another 24 for Dylan Brown. So I reckon I should be on like 780. So I think I'm on 780. But look, that's just how it happens. The bunker letting me down. I normally don't really complain too much about ref decisions because for SuperCoach I'm just like, whatever. But this week I was so big on Sean Lane and I was like, oh my God, finally. I was like, yes, Dylan Brown and Sean Lane together, and it got taken away from me. And I tweeted as well. That was the worst thing. I tweeted. Tweeting too early. Just not how it works. Not good at all. So I'm seeing a few shout outs for some poems. I'm seeing What a Man, Cody Walker from James. Yeah, look, Walker went really big this week. And as a non-owner, obviously it kind of sucked. Especially when I sold him all those weeks ago and I decided to keep the faith in Dylan Brown. But Dylan Brown's been doing me okay. What a Man, Mod says for Cody and IPAP. Yeah, look, obviously both went big. Refereeing was criminal in the Parramatta game. Yeah, look, it was not great. Like even that Penasini, the Penasini try, could even argue that the first two should have been scored. But anyway, ref decisions we'll get onto. We'll get onto what Mitchell was asking for before. The poem for this week. So there is a poem. It's got a bit of a sadder undertone, just mainly because of this whole Dillbags, Sean Lane And we haven't even spoken about Pappenhausen yet. Like, I feel like Pappenhausen was ages ago now. He's got like, 49 points? We all bought him in at 930k, and what we hoped he did last week, he did this week for us instead. And we all thought he got junk time points, and it got pulled back for an obstruction. Just, yeah, what a killer. People lost Alex Johnston, people lost Ryan Madison. Yeah, let's just be happy that the bye planning is over. We can just go for the run home. So here's the poem for round 17. Round 17, the big bye week was here, and if you didn't have Pappy, you would have been watching in fear. But Pappy didn't quite have the same amount of junk. Compared to last week, his score simply stunk. And I thought you beauty, but then came the pain. Sean Lane, that was an absolute pain. Thought I had the assist for Dylan Brown. Didn't own Cody, Moses or Latrell, and that's when I knew all was not well. IPAP went big, didn't captain him. Not gonna lie, things were looking grim. But then came the king, Zach Hosking, 64 on debut. Hope you got him too. I finished on 741. Thank God, bye planning is done. There you go. There's the poem. I actually messed up that poem a little bit. I don't know why. One of the I wrote on my phone. One of the lines didn't come through, so I struggled a little bit in the middle, but we got the flow back. So anyway, that's the round 17 poem. Bye planning's done. Now we can just look forward to Origin on Wednesday and see what happens coming out of that, because anything could happen out of that. You know, players backing up, injuries, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm seeing a few scores here as well. Anyone else trading Edric this week? Yeah, look, if you bought Edric this week, he scored 79 points, so you've had a really big. He's gonna make a ton of money now, so you'd be stoked with that. And look, yeah, he actually looked good, and Knights actually have a pretty good run home as well for the rest of the season. I think 715 will see you drop from top 1k. Yeah, Jacob, I feel like if you're in the top 1k, 715 might slightly drop you back. But look, it's only like one week out of 25 as well. So obviously this is a week where you can make some advances. But in the grand scheme of things, if your team is still looking good for the run home, you'd be pretty happy with that. Like I'm fairly comfortable with how my team is looking for the rest of the year. Got 9 trades, got like 388k in the bank. So I've got a lot of money to be able to move and bring in some guns, which is kind of the idea of this week, going to double nuff. Yeah, so interesting run home now. We've got 8 weeks left to go. A lot can still happen, but look, the fact that you're in the 1k, I think it still suggests that you're going to be okay, like position wise. Thanks for calling Madison out. Saved your trade. Oh, no worries, Phil. So in terms of all that stuff about late mail, there's if you're on Twitter, there's a few accounts where I highly recommend. So you've got Wacko's Whispers. So he gets like inside mail from clubs. So he's really good for this kind of stuff. Follow Stylesy from NRL SuperCoach Talk. He posts all the 24-hour cuts of the game day team, so you can always be on the ball in terms of any late outs. So those are 2 accounts where I have notifications on for Twitter. There's not many. I think there maybe only be 3, and there are 2 of them just for late mail stuff. So you're definitely worthwhile following them. I think NRL Physio is another one who I follow because he obviously posts pretty useful stuff. I think those are the 3 accounts I've got notifications on for Twitter. There's no one else really. And obviously if I get them, I'll retweet them if I can. SuperCoach scoring is a mess. It's inconsistent. They need to come up with some clearer scoring interpretations. It is different, and it is sometimes a bit frustrating. You compare it to like NRL, where I think last pass for them, for example, is always the try assist, whereas in SuperCoach they kind of have different interpretations where it's like fullbacks chiming in from the back line and creating a sweep play and creating the the number advantage will typically get things like try assists and line break assists. I feel like once you start to understand the mechanics of that, then it's like okay. But we have seen some inconsistency this year where even like center wings, for example, get try assists as well. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating when you can't really feel like you're in control of that, or like you'd be happy to know at least what's happening, and then you can pick players appropriately. But look, we'll deal with the cards that we're dealt with. Elite Poet, love it. Mate, you guys are too kind. I feel like you need to change the poem emote to an exclamation mark instead of a question mark. We'll love to spam in the chat when you're saying a poem. Okay, mate. I'll look, James. I'll definitely give that some consideration. I can very easily make that switch. No problems. If the interest is strong for that. Jessica's asking, do you get Cody Ramsey? Cody Ramsey's actually looked really good, eh? He's definitely, I think, going to be there for the rest of the season at that fullback spot. He's looked pretty comfortable there. Scored a double this week. I probably wouldn't say he's a buy though, Jessica, just because if you look at the Dragons run home, it's pretty tough. I'm actually, like, Lomax scored 51 for me this week, which is fine. I wasn't really expecting too much, to be honest, because Broncos, despite all their players out, they still look to be a pretty decent team this year. But their run home is not the best. It's only really rounds 23 and 24 that I think, okay, cool, Titans and Tigers, but, Roosters, Manly, Cowboys, Sharks, Raiders, and then Broncos again. I don't think it's the best draw, so I can't really recommend buying Ramsey. I think you probably want to go elsewhere, maybe in your center wing. I've even considered potentially selling Lomax to like a Brian To'o. Like, Lomax has been decent. He's getting around the 60 points each week. He got a couple of good scores for me as well. But with that run home, I'm thinking I could just get an out-and-out gun like To'o. Feels a bit sideways, but like I think it's an upgrade still. So I'm actually looking at maybe even selling Lomax. So wouldn't necessarily then recommend buying. I think Cody Ramsey, if you wanted to, I think would have been this week to get that buy coverage. Karaz to Oates and captain. Oh, Ian, I feel for you because yeah, you were definitely on the Corey Oates train, and look, his replacement scored like 90 points, didn't he? He got a double. What was his name? It was Hotel. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, 94 points. Like, Corey Oates would have been right there for that double as well. So look, Ian, I saw you posted on Twitter as well. Your intuition and your eye test is definitely telling you the right thing. So just keep at that, and you'll make some good inroads there. Paul going to keep starting while Twal is out. Yeah, look, I'm still not sure on the pronunciation. You guys, help me out. Is it Pole or Pole? I feel like it would be Pole because Pole sounds that sounds weird to say Pole. But yeah, help me out with that. But yeah, he definitely looked good when he played. He was named to start in the end because Tarmel was late out. I hope he does, because with my front row forward situation, I actually wouldn't mind having someone who can come off the bench and knock out like 35 to 45 a week just for some coverage. Because at the moment, it would just be Max King and IPAP in my front row forward. Although with the money that I've got, I might even buy someone like Joe Tarpany this week, for all I know. Pole. Alright, cool. Thanks, Pori. Yeah, so Pole. Yeah, so he looked pretty good. Banged out 48, which I was pretty happy with. So yeah, hopefully he continues to get a run. You would think that with I've heard things about saying that they've told Kamali that they want to focus on like youth and the youngsters. So hopefully that means that this guy gets a run for the rest of the season. Stefano even potentially could become an option as well, but this guy's like bottom price. I don't think he'll actually go up in price until next week. So if he's named again and you're looking for a downgrade in front row forward, say still hanging on to like a Payne Haas, it could be a viable option. Gilbert to Enough, Karaz to Oates, and then captain versus Titans. Thoughts? Ian, look, I think the thought is sound, buying Corey Oates against the Titans. He still has after that, I believe, the Tigers as well, and another couple of good games. I just want to double check when the Broncos actually play next round, because you just want to make sure that, obviously, backing up from Origin, that he would be okay to do so. So Broncos play on the Saturday night. So look, I think for a winger, that's probably okay to for him to back up. So I think, look, I still don't mind buying Corey Oates. Obviously, Broncos are still doing well. You'd expect him to come straight back into the team. So no, look, I think for an early trade thought, that's not too bad. Haven't really thought of my trade thoughts at the moment, just because I know Origin will happen midweek and so much can change there. Like my rough plan coming into this week would maybe be to buy Harry Grant for like McInnes. McInnes actually ended up doing really well. He came off the bench and just banged out like a 72 in base. I think it was all base. He didn't really do anything else. So really happy with that for the bye week. But it kind of makes me question, do I still want to sell him? Especially when Appy could maybe miss round 18 with all the restings. So yeah, that was an initial thought, maybe get Harry Grant. But especially now as well, Munster obviously being out for Origin 3 is huge news. I believe Tom Dearden is coming into the halves from memory. And so Ben Hunt will still stay at number 9. So Harry Grant still might not play the full 80 minutes, but he might play more. And so yeah, we'll have to see what happens out of that. How many trades will we ideally have for the run home? Really, it's a cop-out answer, but it's really team dependent, Harris. So for example, if I'll use my team as an example. So I've got 8 trades left, not 9. I said 9 earlier. So I've got 8 trades left. 388k in the bank. There's still about 2 or 3 guys that I want to make sure I get in. So Harry Grant is probably one. So that's going to probably take 1 trade. Teddy's probably going to be another one. Maybe Ezra May might have to sacrifice. Although we talked about Corey Oates, for example, Ezra May still has some good games coming up. So, might not have to sell him straight away. It might not be an immediate sell. But if I want to get Teddy against the Dragons, who are leaking points, then I probably will have to sell Ezra to do it and swap Nico Hines up to halfback. So for example, that's 2 trades I can 100% will probably do. A third will probably be, I'll probably end up having to try to get Joe Tarpany. The guy's absolutely killing me. So I think I'll try to get him. I don't even mind plugging him in my second row forward, to be honest, and just running with him, Olaquatu, Lane and Crichton as my 4-2 RFs, and then I can have Max King and iPad be my front row forward, and I can even swap Max King and Tarpany around. So that's probably 3 guys, maybe even then a Toto. So look, there's 4 guys I want to try get. I'm going to have to assume 1 trade will be used to create funds as well. So I'll probably have 3 trades left for the run home, which I think feels a bit lighter. So, 8 trades looks low, but for me, if say for example you had 8 trades left, but you only needed to really buy 2 guys left, and you could do those pretty easily, and you've got 6 trades left, I think you're in an okay spot. So yeah, it's hard to say. I would say the majority of people are probably around this 8 to 10 mark. If you've got any more than if you're in double digit trades at the moment, you're probably in a good position. Dylan Brown and Lane, yeah, Rennie. Oh mate, how saddening was that? I was ecstatic. It was like the first 5 minutes, and I bought in Sean Lane, and I had Dylan Brown, and I had Dylan Brown captain as well, and I was like, try assist, Lane try. This is all going good stuff, and then taken away. Yeah, that was sad. But look, Sean Lane still got 50 points in base, so which is exactly what he's done the last 5 weeks. So look, he's shown he can get some attacking stats, good work rate. So look, I'm not unhappy with the buy. Hosking looked impressive. Thoughts? He looked really good, didn't he? He had like a Whisperer posted a bunch of his different stats from the game. It was pretty insane what he did. So I think so he had 80 minutes. So he had 1 offload, 17 hit-ups, 143 meters, 42 post contact, 4 tackle busts, 30 tackles, 62 SuperCoach points, and 48 fantasy points for anyone who plays NRL fantasy. He had a really good debut, but I just think he might play next week if Capel, for example, doesn't back up, but Kurt Capel will come straight back into that team. The issue will be that because he looks so good, he could stay on the bench. Could be a bit of an AE nightmare. So your question, Adam, about thoughts, if you're thinking about buying him, just be wary that if he gets continued to be named on the bench, because I bought him on the premise that he would be a one and done. If that's not the case, then I feel like he's actually not as good of a purchase then in that case. Ezra Mam to Nico Hines. Yeah, look, I think if Hines should be available for round 18 against who they're versing. They're versing the Cowboys? Yeah, they're versing the Cowboys on the Friday. So he should be fit. So Cowboys would be obviously losing a few Origin stars. They're probably not going to back up all of their players. So yeah, I think that probably looks on paper a good move. Hines is a out and out gun. Yeah, Mam to Cherry Evans. So Cherry Evans is an interesting one, because I think if you are looking for a pod, say for example you wanted to skip out on Tedesco, maybe you've already bought Latrell and Pappenhausen this week, and so you're instead actually looking at a halfback to partner. Well, I imagine your halfback then would probably be Cleary and Hines. But let's say, for example, you wanted a pod and you kept Hines at fullback. So say, instead of buying Tedesco, you buy instead of halfback. So Cherry Evans could be that guy. Cheap price, 587k. Really good run home as well. So, Knights is in there, Dragons is in there, Titans, Parramatta concede points, Bulldogs at the last game of the season. We saw Cherry Evans kill it at the back end of the season as well. What will be interesting to see is how Garrick kind of comes back from this hip pointer injury. Physio mentioned that with this extra week off probably will help him. If hypothetically he doesn't goal kick, then Cherry Evans will goal kick. That just makes him a much better option. So yeah, he definitely would be a pod. His season's been a bit strange. If you look at the first 8 weeks, he was super, super consistent. And then you're getting a few ups and downs, 50s, 20s, 70s, and then one big score. So definitely could be a pod. Yeah. Food for thought, I think, for sure. Brandon Smith suspended, so you think Grant will play 80 in your case. Has that been confirmed? Have I missed that news? That Brandon Smith's been suspended for that, whatever, yelling at the ref? I didn't realize that. I'm having a look at it. Yeah, what's his punishment? That was pretty wild, that whole incident as well. Faces a 4-week ban. Is that it? Is that what it is? He's facing a 4-week ban. Okay. That's okay. Well, if he's out for 4 weeks, then yeah, Grant's probably gonna have to back up, play the 80 minutes then, I guess. So maybe I do buy him straight away this week. Yeah, interesting. 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, that's right. Ethan says you only have 4 trades left. Jeez, that. To Harris, to your question earlier, how many trades left for the run home? 4 is not the answer. I'll tell you that much. Sorry, Ethan. Do you think Tarpany is a must or close to one? I don't know whether I need to make space for him. I've been battling with this myself, Waylord. Like, he's just been absolutely killing it. Now, I don't know if I'm just trying to like be too cute with it and I just need to suck it up and buy him. But like, I feel like this last period during Origin has been really good for him because, you know, Papali'i's been out with the Origin squad, so Tarpany's had to step up. I just wonder, is he going to be able to, or be asked to do the same once Papali'i's back for the run home for the rest of the season? He's so expensive now as well. He's like 670k. But I've gone into this mistake before, like last year with IPAP. It's like, oh, this guy can't keep it up. This guy can't keep it up. And then they just keep doing it and they keep punishing you. And the bigger his ownership gets, the harder it's going to go. So yeah, like if you're at the top, you know, like 1,000, you don't own him, I'd say you probably should get him because he's really going to hurt your ranking. Me, I'm a little bit further back. Maybe I just anti-pod him. I don't know. He's looking like, in my opinion, I think he is looking a must. Like a couple of weeks back, I put together my dream, you know, 17 or 25 for the run home, and Tarpany was in there as the second front row forward. So I guess in my eyes, that makes me think that he is probably a must season keeper, which sucks, so I don't own him. I forgot to finalize my trades and scored a massive 238. Oh, Jake, that is unlucky. Well, look, we'll live and learn. You dust yourself off. I can bet that you're not going to forget your trades next week. That's for sure. Am I stuck with Ilias for the season? What a disaster. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Hey, he got HIN the first tackle of the game. No, you just got to sell him. Just try to make some money, enough for a couple of players, and just sell him. Because especially in a position like 5'8", or halfback, depending on which spot you've got him in, you just need to get one of these higher upside guys. My opponent got an AE score this week, but it gave him Bradman Best 49 instead of Ilias 0. Are you being robbed? Sorry. I'm just finishing up my lozenge. I thought that even if a player played and scored 0, they would still count. I know, for example, I think negative scores don't count. That's an interesting one. I might have to check the rules about that. Team optimizer reserves, substitutions. No, okay. I was just seeing if there's anything in the help section about auto emergencies. I might have to check that one out for you, Sean. I'm not 100% sure about that one actually. Let me just go back to the points games. Let's chuck it on the Rabbiters one. 4 weeks, that's absurd. Yeah, like I just pulled up a quick article. It said it could be 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know if it's even confirmed yet, but yeah, look, could be ages. Proctor drops player on the head for 2 weeks. Smith called a ref a cheat. 4 weeks, just seems a bit odd. Yeah, it's who knows? Who knows, James? Who knows? Like, it's probably more about the seriousness of like insinuating that a referee is like cheating or match fixing is pretty bad as well. But yeah, look, we could talk for days about this. So I don't really try to get into this too much. Yeah, NRL judiciary, I've got no control over it. I'll let them do what they want. Harris, you got 10. Still need to find room for Manu, Grant, and Cook. I think that's manageable with 10 trades, to be honest. If those are like your main 3, I think you can do that with probably about 4 to 5 trades. Leave yourself 4 or 5 trades for the run home for emergencies. I think that's probably an okay spot to be in, mate. What do you think about Val Holmes as a pod with the Cowboys' good draw? Yeah, for sure. It could definitely be a pod. They do have a really good draw coming up. Oh, the only thing is obviously this week he might not play. There's probably a strong likelihood he wouldn't play on Friday because he plays on Wednesday. So it's probably something, again, where if you wanted immediate points, you'd probably get someone else. But I think the only other person you say for a good run home centre is probably Toto, and he might not even play this week either. He has to score greater than 0. Okay, great. Thanks for helping me out, Ben and Luke. So yeah, Sean, that answers your question. So yeah, if the AE plays but scores 0, it doesn't actually get included, which I think feels strange. I feel like if the player plays, look, it's tough luck if they scored 0. Like, I'd be really annoyed if that happened to me. But I feel like once they step on the field, fair game, I guess. It's just even worse if they got a negative score as well. Gazaraki, welcome to you, says, reckon gunning for Cook to partner Grant for the run home is fine. Or would you go Robson? I don't mind the Robson shout. So, obviously, Cook didn't play this week. Robson has been killing it. He's been killing it. I think he might be a pod as well. Let me just quickly... I want to check the... Oh, by the way, guys, if you haven't checked this out from the SC Playbook, it's a fantastic resource that they've added to the website. They have the true player owner percentages. So instead of on the actual SuperCoach website, you can see the actual ownership of players in different ranking tiers, which is super, super helpful. So, for example, if you want to look at, like, is a player a pod or not, this is a great way to do it. So just choose a player, go to trades. I found this out last week. Then you've got ownership. So yeah, for example, Robson is about 20% owned in the top 100, which is less of a pod than I thought. I feel like Damien Cook would be higher than that. So if I want to say, let's see, we found Damien Cook. Cook is, wrong part. Trades. So he's 27%. So there's actually not that much difference between Cook and Robson. Robson does have the better draw for the run home. Honestly, I don't mind it. He's locked in for 80 minutes as well. So yeah, I don't mind the play of going for Robson instead of Cook if you are looking for a second hooker, Gazaraki. Because they do have a slightly tougher run home, I guess. But Latrell has definitely made a positive impact, that's for sure. Already a Will Kennedy owner. Should I sell or keep as a pod through this tough month, but that run home is juicy? Did he score well last week? He scored 55 against Melbourne, which is not bad. I just don't see him in my top 2 fullbacks, or even top 3 for that matter. Like, I'd say the top 4 guys you'd probably want in your fullback is Pappenhausen, Teddy, Latrell, or Hines. I just don't see, even if you put Hines at halfback, I'll still have 3 guys ahead of him. I know he's got a really good end of season, but I just feel like even Drinkwater I'd probably rank above Kennedy, to be honest. So no, I'd probably sell Kennedy. I feel like he's done a decent job, but I don't see him as like a season keeper, Oliver. Drinkwater for over 100 this week. Yeah, look, there's a good chance that Drinkwater does. He's probably going to goal kick if Val Holmes doesn't play. Who is more of a trade out if you had to decide between Thungal or Suwali? I think I'd definitely probably trade out Suwali over Thungal. I think Thungal's his dual status is really handy. Tigers this week as well. Like, I can't see myself selling Taylor May or Thungal, even when they're versing the Tigers this week. There's no way I could fathom that. I'm kind of looking at him as a season hold now as well. Suwali, yes, has got some good games coming up, but in a straight head-to-head between those two, I think I'd probably cut ties with Suwali first. Sean, anyone know when Cotter's due back? So I think he's going to be back around round 19 is the report that I've read. So not this week, but probably next week. Yeah, interesting one if you've held on to him, because if you've held on to him for this long, you may as well just continue to hold, but the risk will be that he doesn't come back as good as he was previously because it's a hamstring injury, kind of one of those finicky injuries. You bring in the Cheese this week, and now he's going to miss a month. Yeah, that's tough. Like, that's just unlucky. It's like a trade-in, then you already have to trade him out. Although, to be fair, look, I'm not shooting you down, Mark, but I didn't think Brandon Smith was a good buy this week. To be fair, he scored 62. But yeah, that's unlucky that you now have to sell him. Do you think Madison is a must when fit? Is he going to be fit though? Like, a rib injury, NRL Physio always talks about this, that rib cartilage is one of the more painful injuries to manage. And I don't know if like he's going to be as good as what he was at the moment. And like, he's really expensive as well, 670k. So I think now I wouldn't say he's a must. He definitely I think he still would be in the top 5 to RF. but I think you could probably look elsewhere. Like, I'd probably rather now buy at the same price. I'd probably rather buy Tarpany than Madison at the moment. Tarpany's fit. Madison's a little bit banged up. Tarpany's got dual as well. Did I have to pay? Did I have to pay for SC Playbook? No, that feature is free on their website, so you don't have to pay for that one, which is really handy as well. You reckon it's fine to run Bizza, Thungle, and May for the rest of the season? Yeah, Ben, absolutely. The best team in the comp, best attacking team. They're gonna get points irrespective of their matchups. I can't even remember what their draw is looking like. I just know that they've got the Tigers this week, which is super juicy. So let's have a look at it. Yeah, look, you've got Tigers, Sharks, Para, Canberra, Melbourne. Like, it's not the easiest draw, but it's also the Panthers. So I feel like they're like Thungle, you can just keep and play on matchups, for example. I read that Cotter was just a couple of weeks into a 6 to 8 week rehab process. Okay, I may have maybe read something from a while ago. Maybe it's not actually as recent, but I'll double check that. I'll just have a quick look on Google actually just now as well. West Fund Rehab Report. Oh yeah, so yeah, you are right actually. Michacho, yeah. So on the website, on the Cowboys website, there's a video which I haven't watched yet, but it just says their strength and conditioning coach gave an update on Ruben Cotter's right hamstring. The 23-year-old is currently a couple of weeks into a 6 to 8 week rehab process. Looks like he could be out. If that's the timeline, call it a couple of weeks, 2 to 3. It still looks like he's 2 to 3 weeks off, which probably makes him even more of a sell because you've only got 8 weeks really for the rest of the season. Who are my top 4 centre wings for the run home? Mitchell. Ooh, okay. So I would say, actually, I think I can answer this pretty easily. Ruben Garrick, Joey Manu, Brian To'o. The fourth one's a little bit up for debate. I'm going to split Taylor May and Mulatalo. So, but like for me, like To'o, Lomax, sorry, not Lomax, Freudian slip there. Garrick, Manu, and To'o, I see comfortably as top 3. Fourth one is maybe one of Mulatalo or Taylor May. Would you trade out Tamalolo for Tarpany? Another player you could sell is Angus. Oh, would you sell Lolo for Tarpany? I would say it's an upgrade, but it doesn't feel great. It does feel a little bit sideways. Like Tamalolo's been fine as well. To be honest, I don't mind that. If Tarpany keeps banging out 80s and Lolo 60s, the 20 points extra is probably just about worth it. I've decided to hold Angus. I think Angus now with Dragons and I think he's got a good matchup the round after. He's got the let's have a quick look if this wants to load for me. Yeah, he's got the Dragons and the Knights. I'd probably rather hold Angus, I think, for now. Cleary should be getting rested for the Tigers game. Yeah, the word is that Panthers were going to rest their Origin guys for round 18. What are my moves for this week, Isaac? So what I'm thinking was, it's going to be very Origin dependent, but what I was thinking coming into this week was, so if I look at the prices, so McInnes had a break even of 92 and scored 72, so he's going to lose a little bit of money. So let's say he's going to be 535k. I was going to sell him for Harry Grant because I think Grant is now like 610k. So I was going to do McInnes to Grant, and then if I had enough money, I was going to do Ezra Mam to Tedesco via Nico Hines. That was going to be my 2 trades for this week. Try to double gun, and that way in my opinion, then my fullbacks 5'8" and halfback would be loaded up, and then I would just have to either play one of, say, like Lomax each week, or maybe like a Coruscant, for example. So those are my initial thoughts. I think we'll see. I don't quite think I'm going to have enough money to be able to do that. So what I was thinking maybe is I'll just wait for Origin to come out and see what happens. Like, let's say, for example, Teddy maybe looks like he's not going to play this week. Let's say Grant gets banged up or whatever for the Storm and he can't play, hypothetically. Then what I might do with the money is instead try to buy like a Tarpany. So for example, maybe I would sell... Would I sell Max King? I don't know. Maybe I'd sell one of my... I could even sell Lomax for Tarpany. Because what I could do is I could sell Lomax, swap Tungo down to center wing, and then swap Max King down to RF, so then I can buy Lomax for Tarpany in my front row forward. So that could be one thing I do as well. Like, Lomax has been fine, but if Lomax is going to bang out like 55, 60, and Tarpany is going to bang out like 75, 80s a week, it's probably worth about the upgrade. So that's one thought I just had just now, actually, that I could do as well. So there's a few options, but I'm definitely looking at this week, because I freed up a lot of coin, to try get in at least one or maybe even two guns if I can. Will Houth ever play? No, Houth is not going to play, I don't think, for the rest of this season at all. I bought him as enough, hoping that he would play in the Origin period, but it's not happened. He's probably going to feature for us next year. I can't remember when he's been signed, I think, to a long-term deal with the Storm. Next season, obviously, they're going to be losing Bromwich Brothers and also Kafusi. So you would think that maybe then he gets a spot in the back row. The only thing is that I've heard the Storm say that they prefer him actually to play at centre wing than second row forward. So maybe next year, could be the year after. How are these guys getting green names in the chat? Mark, so those guys are members. So now you've mentioned it now, so I'll do a quick plug. So you guys can become a member of the channel. There's like a $1.50 a month subscription. There's no additional content. It's just a way for you to just show support to the channel if you'd like. And so they get a little members badge, and they get access to a couple of emojis that I made up for them, like a poem one and a what a man one. So that's just something for you guys if you want to show some support, but nothing else crazy. But yeah, Mark, to answer your question, that's how they're getting the green highlights. Is your score a green arrow or a red arrow? So I'm at rank 4,500, which I'm happy with. I'm actually, based on where I was beginning of the season, I'm happy that I've been going up. I want 740, so I feel like I'm going to get like a small green arrow. I feel like I'm going to maybe go up maybe 200-300 spots. Like, I'd be surprised if I went up more than 500 spots this week, because I feel like I did okay, but I'm seeing a lot of other big scores, and also from guys at the top as well. So yeah, to be fair, I could even go down, but my gut feels that I'll go up slightly. Would nothing Lomax for Teddy in, say, round 19 be worth it? Yeah, like if Teddy kills it, let's say round 18 he plays and he kills it, and you just need to free up funds, I don't mind nothing someone in your centre wing, because you've got a few more spots to play with. And then Tedesco, you'd say, is an out-and-out gun. Lomax has been good. Like, he doesn't really do much, and he got 50 again today, just like with some goal kicks. Really good base as well. But if he's not quite hitting the upside that someone like Tedesco can, then it's probably just about worth it, I reckon. What's the high score that everyone has seen? So, shout out to Tim Moody, last year's winner. So he scored 1,000 and... Let me have a quick look, sorry. 1,011. So that's the highest score that I've seen from like a non-sniper team, if you want to call it that. So yeah, he scored 1,011, which is huge. So he did some really big trades in this week. He bought Moses, and he captained Moses. I think he bought Latrell. He had the vice captain on Latrell, but I don't think he even looped him. So he brought in Moses and he captained him. So he did massive. I think he owns Cody Walker as well. So he had Moses, Cody Walker, Latrell all do well for him. He had IPAP. So yeah, he had a really, really good week. He also sends us news every other day. That is not true. Not true at all. Plus, no one would want to see that, by the way. Just putting it out there. McInnes to Grant and Graham to Teddy. Yeah, those are two good moves, Isaac. Yeah. If say, for example, if Grant's fit and he's ready to play this week. Phantom teams should be banned in split rounds. Yeah, look, Adam, I agree. I think there's no reason why a team that's made for just 1 week should be worthy of getting a weekly prize. Like, I could just say my girlfriend's like made it. She's all of a sudden she's interested in NRL SuperCoach and decided to make a team in round 17, but like, I don't like it. Machacha says you pipped him. Okay, Machacha, you must have had a massive week then if you scored over 1,011. I think anyone who scored over 900 this week should be in for some big green arrows, I reckon. So about 40 minutes in. I love that we haven't really spoken too much about the games that have actually happened this week. But look, to be fair, I think I'm kind of done with the buy planning. I can just run home for the rest of the year with my low trades and try to get some guns in. Just thinking if there's anything interesting that came out of the week. I think someone asked earlier, I think it might have been James, you said Cody to Dylan Brown. It's hard to say that now when Cody has scored 119 and Dylan Brown scored 57. Like, yes, Rabbitohs run home is tough, but Latrell coming back has made a big difference already in the last 2 games, you can see. I think, like, I wouldn't be making that move this week because, the Rabbitohs have got the Bulldogs. So, despite the Eels having the Warriors, that's something I did notice from the Eels game, though. When Moses is on, he hogs the ball, essentially. Not in a bad way, but, like, they send the ball all the way down to him. They send the ball to him most of the time. So they're not actually playing as much down their left side as what they used to be. So Dylan Brown can sometimes be left a little bit out of the attacking play, but he's still got a try assist for Sevo. And look, should have got another one, to be honest, for Lane, but we're not going to get into that. So look, Dylan Brown, if you add that in, would have got 69 points, and you're looking at that saying solid. Looks like he didn't do too much, but a couple of try assists for 69 points is good. Cody Walker just had a massive game. The matchup was probably better. Well, not really. Tigers is a good matchup as well, right? So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'd be doing that move. I mean, I'd kind of just say wait a week and then decide. Because when the Rabbitohs run gets tough, then yeah, I'd probably say I'd prefer Dylan Brown for the run home. I still probably would prefer Dylan Brown for the run home, but the last 2 weeks, Cody has been better, as have the Rabbitohs as well. Martinelli or Mount? Mate, Ian, I am an Arsenal fan and I do love Martinelli. I've got Martinelli in my team, but not Mount, just because he's cheaper. And Arsenal have got good fixtures. But look, I'm not actually that locked into my FPL team because so much can change in preseason as well. I bought in Edric Lee for this week just to make some quick cash, and he should go up about 90k. So he was a centre wing I should bring in with around 790,000 to spend. I'd probably say Brian To'o, if you don't own him. I think he's around the 600k. Joey Manu, let's say this week Teddy doesn't play and Joey Manu's at fullback. I think Manu is almost close to a must. I think he's pretty expensive as well. I think he's over 700k from memory. Yeah, he's 708k, so he's definitely one. I think Manu, To'o, Garrick, one of these guns. Garrick's over 700k as well. Which fullback to go for, Tedesco or Latrell? Well, we had a big discussion about that, Cody, this week. My view was still always Tedesco, just because the draw is better, despite Latrell being able to actually still score okay against tougher opponents. I still prefer Tedesco. Now, Latrell has looked really, really good. Goal kicking really helps, to 99 and 93. If he bangs out like a 75-80 average, he's probably worth it. All I would say though is that if you haven't bought Latrell this week and Tedesco plays this week, I'd probably still favour Tedesco. I feel like if you were going to buy Latrell, this week was the week, because if you added his score plus the rest of the season compared to Tedesco, he probably would have outscored him just about. If you're just looking from this next coming week onwards, I'd probably say Tedesco will score. I'd go Latrell over Tedesco, pod move, plus he looks like he wants to play. Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, he's come back and he looks really good. So that's why I'm not like super confident in it. I'm kind of thinking, did I not do the right thing not getting Latrell this week? But like, don't forget, Roosters still have a good draw, and Tedesco, even despite we've had a really tough run recently, and he's still averaged like I think 65 or 70. Just having a quick look. So let's see, Tedesco. So okay, yeah. So I remember selling Tedesco and I regretted it ever since I sold him. But since round 10, they had Parramatta, Panthers, Sharks, Raiders, Melbourne, Parramatta, Penrith. Since that time, he's gone 62, 67, 144, 50, 57, and 66. So, apart from that one game against the Sharks, most of his scores have been around the 60s. So you'd think if he's still getting around 60, take out that outlier game against the Sharks. Although you shouldn't really take it out because it shows his ceiling. If you just look at the other scores, he's been getting around 60, 65. And those are in tough games. When you're looking at the Dragons, the Knights coming up, you've got the Tigers in round 23, Broncos in round 21. Still not the best defensive team. Manly in round 20, for example. I think if he can bump up his average by 10 points to 75-80, I think he's probably who I'd prefer for the run home, just because he has got those good games, and he's got obviously a really high ceiling. But Latrell's got the same ceiling as well. Aman, is Johnston a priority over Mulatalo with Latrell's inclusion for that deadly left side? It's worthwhile to think about. I mean, Johnston is like 690k. Maybe I can throw him into the mix for that person who's asking about having 790k to spend on a centre wing. I just think with that run home, he doesn't really have the base. Although I think pretty sure like last game he scored like 36 in base, which is really high. I'd still prefer To'o or Mulatalo. I think Mulatalo's end of the season is fantastic, so I'd probably still prefer him. But yeah, Latrell coming back does change things up heaps for the Rabbitohs. Latrell looks great and also likely to be suspended at any moment. That's yeah, he toes a fine line. Let's put it that way. Toby, hello Toby, Green Arrow, what a man. Yeah, Toby, shout out to Toby. So Toby was ranked 46th coming into this week. He made some big moves. I think he sold Cleary from Moses. He captained Moses. I think Toby, correct me if I'm wrong, he also owned Cody Walker. I'm pretty sure Toby scored 969 points before any updates, which is like 969 points at a rank of 46 is insane. Like that's, I think you'd be firing straight up to like top 20, maybe even top 15. So yeah, congrats Toby. I think you had an awesome week. And it shows the benefit of saving trades. Because I know Toby's had a lot of trades. He had like 15, I think, before this week, which lets you, at this point of the season, do these kind of big things about selling Cleary. You can get him back in round 19. So yeah, shout out to you, Toby. Good stuff. I went Latrell. Really happy I did. Yeah, look, I know I'm saying Tedesco, but he did. I'm like, well, when I was watching Latrell get his try assist and everything, I was like, damn, I think I maybe made a mistake not getting him, but we'll have to wait and see. Is Pappenhausen good to keep, especially with a hard run home? Look, for me, Pappenhausen, if he's fit, don't forget, the Storm haven't really had their full spine for a long time. You know, Munster's had a couple of games. Pappy was out for a while. Harry Grant's been kind of in and out as well, like Origin. Hughes was out for a bit of time as well. So yes, they've dipped, but I feel like when they're all four back, they're going to be the team that still scores a lot of points. So I know Adam B also asked about if their form doesn't improve. I think there's a very clear reason why their form hasn't been good. It's because of all those spine players being out. And don't forget, they've copped a lot of injuries. You know, Christian Welch from the beginning of the season, Coates being out, Grant Anderson looks like he's out. Obviously, all the ones with Hughes, Munster, Pappy, Harry Grant had some injuries, I think, as well. There's a few other guys. Kafusi's not there at the moment. I think he's in the US. Like they have lost a lot of players as well, and they're still being competitive. Although Sharks game probably not very competitive. So for me, I'm not really too concerned about the likes of, say, Pappenhausen. This guy has got 100 average, which will obviously come down a little bit this week. He still managed to score like 50-something points. What did he end up on? 49 points. And if you watch that game, you'd probably be like, what the hell did he do? And he still managed 50 points. So, look, for me, I'm confident enough in Melbourne and those gun players to turn it around. Yes, it might mean you don't have to buy them, but like selling them, I'm not sure if I can sell them. Thoughts on Ronaldo to Chelsea? I think we will get the service to score 40 plus goals. I don't think he's going to score 40 goals. I think Ronaldo's past that level that he was previously, and Premier League, I don't see anyone scoring 40 goals in the Premier League anymore. He'll get the service, don't get me wrong, especially he's a good header of the ball. Chilwell and Reece James will flip in those crosses. For FPL purposes, I'm probably not going to buy him. If he does go, though, I think he might be 10.5 million, so pretty good price. Anyway, we're talking FPL here, which I don't mind. 942 as Moses was downgraded. Oh, that's right. I think he went down to like 117. Not that I've got much sympathy for you, Toby. My captain scored 57 points, but no, I'm joking. Yeah, Latrell for Cleary. Yeah, exactly. You did, like, if you sold Cleary for like Latrell, then you'd be stoked with that. Who's my Premier League team? Arsenal. I thought I was wearing the shirt, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm an Arsenal man. So yeah, bit disappointing what happened at the back end of last year, not getting fourth, but we'll come for another season. I'm happy with Jesus signing though. He's already scored a double in the preseason, so good. Happy with that. All right, we'll probably go for about another couple of minutes. We'll see a few questions. But yeah, we haven't really talked too much about the games, but I'm happy more just to go through questions that you guys have. Just more of a general chat. In terms of what content will look like for this week, I'm not 100% sure yet, because I think we'll still have TLT, but Origin will be on Wednesday, and I feel like so much could happen from that. So I'm thinking maybe instead what I'll do this week is if I don't do the stream on the Tuesday, or say even like I'll probably won't stream on Wednesday with Origin, obviously. So I'm thinking I might do something on Thursday. At that point, we'll have updated information from Origin. There are no games on Thursday as well, so it gives people at least a day ahead of the new round. So yeah, give me your thoughts, guys. But I'm not sure if I'll be doing something on Tuesday. I might just instead do it on Thursday, just so we've got that Origin game out of the way as well, because so much can change from that game, right? Gunnar, knew you were a good man. My mate Toby, I like you even more now. What a man, that's right. Alright guys, we'll probably end the stream there, given that we're starting talking about a bit about FPL, which I don't mind. You can follow me on Aman Talks FPL on Twitter. A lot of Twitter chat there as well on FPL. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a good bye week and a good weekend. Yeah, bye planning's over, thank God. Oh yeah, quickly I'll give a shout out. I think someone mentioned on Whisperer's stream about can you stream until 11 PM because of the Wimbledon final. I have no idea how I'm going to stay awake for that and then function at work tomorrow. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try to stay and watch that game as well. $4 for Kyrgios. Yeah, it's going to be tight, but yeah, no, I'm definitely going to try to watch that game if I can. So yeah, it'll be a late night for me. So yeah, Rashford at 6.5 to you, Josh Strange. Nah, don't get Rashford. Martinelli is your man at 6.5. Yeah, don't get Rashford. You might want to get Sancho, but no, I don't think I'd get Sancho either. Alright, anyway, enough of that. Alright, see you all later. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and catch you all in the next one.